Hi agents, my name's Ben from Boss Construction Group. I'm sitting here with a superstar agent, Jonathan Keith from the JK team over at Compass. He's also our Miami president, our Miami Board of Realtors president, and we're sitting down today to have a discussion, a power lunch, a conversation talk on how real estate is going in South Florida, what problems agents are having, what Jonathan is doing interesting with his team over at Compass, and sit here to have fun. Thanks for coming, Jonathan.
Yeah, Ben, appreciate it. Thanks for having me out.
Thanks.
And it's just, I tell you what, living here in Fort Lauderdale is a dream. There's a reason why, we enjoy our community, and I'm embraced into, the town and the Fort Lauderdale. Right now we're right in the middle of spring break, so traffic's a little heavy, and obviously we've got, people here that are probably abusing our town a little further beyond what we were anticipating, but the weather is great. And
weather is great.
That's a great thing about living here in Fort Lauderdale, Ben, is that it's a 365-day-a-year city where you're able to do anything and everything that you could possibly want to do, except for possibly snow skiing, which I think they've got some fake slopes for Christmas on Las Olas. So. And
are you a local South Floridian, or where were you from?
I grew up in Tampa, but this is
USF.
So this was my millennial resolution. My mom actually retired from USF Medical Clinic. She was our communications director, believe it or not.
Cool.
In Tampa. But yeah, Fort Lauderdale, I've been here since 2000. I've been in the business in the sale sector of real estate for 16 years. We're operating a 20 agent team, with a division for all my team. Each of the agents has a specific unique task that they focus on in the industry. So it really works out great for us because we're able to provide specific service where you don't have an agent that just does everything.
Sure.
You have an agent that specifically hones into commercial. Yeah. We've got agents that hone into luxury. We have a specific agent that focuses on residential income. We have off-market and newly listed properties that we're queuing. We've got each agent really focuses. We have a tenant agent that all he does is focuses on tenants. Nice. So a lot of the public always wonder, well, Jonathan, you're too busy, or you got this too much going on. Well, actually, we have a certain agent that's all they want to do is focus on tenants.
Yeah.
Where most agents are like, no, just go to an apartment complex and you're on your own. Where we actually take in service all the way.
So every single specialty.
Right.
And I've hung out with your team, and your team is a reflection of you.
Absolutely.
Which is really cool. From being at the sales meeting to being over in Parrot Jungle, it's just amazing what the resources that they have to offer to property owners, people buying, selling.
Yeah, and I think that in today's society, how things have evolved over the past 24 months with technology, you're seeing so much money getting infused into Amazon and all these tech companies where it's a no holds bar when they want what they want in technology, and the money is there to fund these things. And that was kind of my transition from going from a big box brokerage that's got 100-year-old name to a fresh high technology brokerage firm, because we wanted to have all those resources. We wanted to be a part of what is in front of us in technology so we can stay relevant. And I had to take responsibility of ensuring that my team had all those different tools to operate out in the field, which is huge, Ben.
Yeah, and as far as things that you're seeing in downtown South Florida, downtown Fort Lauderdale, and trends in general in South Florida, like I remember in 2011, I was in grad school at that FAU building right there. So we saw a lot of disconnectivity that is kind of coming back. So for example, now my in-laws who are going to the Performing Arts Center to see a show, they're going and walking down Las Olas now, where we didn't have that before.
Right. Actually, I was just at the Performing Arts show.
Really?
Over the weekend. We went and saw The Fix.
Yeah.
You guys know they did Red Skies at Night and Saved by Zero. So
nice.
We actually enjoy the Broward Performing Arts. I think it's a beautiful section. That whole facility being right on the river is just it's gorgeous, and we're blessed to have such a cool facility here in the county and specifically in the city.
And you educate agents as well with your role at the board, meaning you're going from location to location. You're traveling. You're really a superstar agent, and that's really what I like to say.
I think in turn with that, I appreciate it. The key is being a part of your community. And a lot of times, what I found is kind of navigating through the waters of what agents know what.
Sure.
Agents these days, they need to know their subdivision. They need to know their neighbors. They need to know where City Hall is. They need to know where the hospitals are. Everybody says, well, an agent needs to know what the schools are. Well, that's great, and what the schools are rated at. But where are the other facilities? Do they really know where the courthouse is? Do they know that the courthouse just was rebuilt? Do they know that they're all the key restaurants? We're finding that the open public does not want to deal with someone who's not resourceful, someone who's not entrenched in our town. They're just not going to tolerate it.
So they want to see people going, for example, to the Downtown Development Authority meetings, any local chambers, what else? Just seeing any trends that are happening.
Well, I mean, and the public ultimately is depending on like a pillar of society, which that's what a realtor is. Like if you put a realtor into a business networking environment, ultimately that realtor is supposed to be the pinnacle individual in the business sector to drive all the business down to everybody else. They are the ultimate when it comes to, because they're the ones out in the field. They're meeting, they're moving, they're shaking. It's not the attorney. The attorney is supposed to be facilitating, suing, or representing their clients. It's the agent that's saying, hey, I found a personal injury suit that I'd love for you to refer, or love for you to handle. Hey, I've got a house I just sold and there's some plumbing issues. Or, hey, Ben, I've got some code permits on a deal that I need your help with. So that agent has got to have the resources, or people just aren't interested in doing business with them. You've got to ramp up your resources to be a useful point of contact in our community.
And that's really cool. I mean, that's what really brings the level and the power of an agent, how they can be a resource to their property owner. Going from doing what I used to do for the city to being a building inspector and code enforcement officer to working on the other side and helping agents. And I saw a lot of agents, again, the first time I was marketing this business and I came to the board, I met you. Like over a year and a half ago.
Right.
And I was like, wow. I mean, I saw a lot of agents trying to do what I do and go to the city and bring the city on the property, and they find more problems. So I like to be a resource for agents, and that's really what we do.
Right. And I think a lot of that has to do. Our relationship evolved. I had sat on code enforcement for the city of Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, really?
Yep. Which is that's appointed by the mayor, and at that time it was Jack Seiler, who was the mayor, who I just had like the utmost respect for. I thought that he was just an amazing man, amazing community leader, amazing in general, just a gentleman who I felt gave his heart and soul to our city, and I wanted to be there to be under his wing, to be a part of the city. So, being on the CB, which is a code enforcement board, helped me kind of get into the city to understand how things work. That's how you and I were able to have a different relation, and that's part of making that impact. I went in and help make that impact for the city. It was a volunteer scenario, but then it changed our whole dynamic with yours and my relationship, where I had a better understanding of what you were going to get into, because it was you and your counterparts and Spear would actually come in, and we would deal with all the different code violations around the city, and so I just had a better outlook on how things played out.
All they want is voluntary compliance, and what's really interesting is we're seeing over in Miami-Dade County things like reoccupancy inspections, seeing where the city's becoming more aggressive to get property owners to transfer during the transfer of ownership to correct code violations. We don't, but permitting is so much on the local level. Right. So there's 32 building departments in Broward County, and we go into the city of Fort Lauderdale. We might go into a part of unincorporated Broward County, which was pretty interesting. And one solution. So we always have to be creative with our solutions. Something that works one time, a building official changes, might not work the next time. And I just try and be as thorough as I can with property owners, so there's no surprises or hiccups along the way.
Yeah, I mean, there were some things that I thought in the past, right?
Before you met me, you've done my job a bunch of times.
Well, I mean, in a situation where I look back at some of the things I thought were just ridiculous for the city of Fort Lauderdale now, as things have evolved, like specifically like with spring break, I never understood why Fort Lauderdale wouldn't, support spring break, right? Yeah. And how that relates to code violations and all that. Well, I mean, it does. It comes in with traffic. It comes in with, people speeding around. It comes in with people who come in to party and tear up our town and then leave with zero, impact. What they do to the properties that they rented out, whether it was the hotels or the Airbnbs or the actual, friends' properties or whatever however they ended up staying here for however short a time that was. Yeah. Now I understand, hey, wait a minute, now that I've really kind of entrenched into being a real resident in Fort Lauderdale, with a family.
You're a local resident and business owner.
Right. Now it's more geared towards, like for instance, we had that whole, sinkhole down at Bayview. Yeah. And then we also had somebody had hit a pole. The first thing that came to my mind when they hit that pole was just probably somebody that had gone too far, whether it was alcohol or whatever, and took out a pole and then redirected, a major thoroughfare's traffic into a residential neighborhood, and then we had all kinds of challenges with people speeding and all that. So it relates, and it ties in, and it's just being, I think if anything, I think where I'm at now is more of just trying to be an ambassador for real estate, for our industry, and for our community, and being support to who has taken those leadership roles, whether it's Commissioner Ben Sorensen or I just met up with Commissioner Glassman the other day at a Broward Spotlight that the Miami Association of Realtors had. Yeah. So we want to help them lead and help them make things better.
That's what that's what kind of got me when I was in Tampa USF. I started working for a city councilman, and he's actually running for election right now.
Who was it?
His name is John Dingfelder.
Okay.
And he's in South Tampa, over in McDale. He's running for re-election.
That's funny because I had a house for 20 years over in Hyde Park. Yeah.
So he's running for a citywide seat. I interned with him, and I got really into local government and local involvement. And then I said, well, how do I get involved locally and learn a skill? So then I went into urban planning, and I came back home to South Florida, to permitting and code compliance. So it kind of got down to that level. Then I got into real estate, and I got my GC license. And then a lot of active realtors in my family were saying, hey Ben, I need you to fix this. I need you to save my transaction. But it's very interesting how it all comes into play. I was just in Vegas, and they're doing a lot of public-private partnerships over there. You see a lot of people, and it's just amazing how they have all the things that could happen wrong in that town, they have a solution for, almost. Meaning,
I wonder if they had a solution for it snowing in Vegas.
No, I don't think so.
My wife she happened to go to a Duran Duran
12 days before I was there.
Crazy, right?
No, but I mean, they even have downtown Fremont Street, which is really cool, and they have a circle where all the local vendors can go, and they covered that street and protected all the signs. So I really think local government and private enterprise and everybody needs to come together to find solutions.
Yeah, I mean, it's caring. You know? I mean, if everybody talks about being a part of our community, then be a part. Share and it doesn't mean blowing the whistle or anything. It just means being involved. You know? And I think that's a big factor. That's what I share down into the team is ROI. It's not return on investment. Which is a lot of what we see that I'd love to see turn in Fort Lauderdale, where the agents are focused more on the money factor. But what about their other capacity of being involved, whether it's in the association that they're a member of, whether Realtor Association or whether it's a charity that they're involved in. If everybody was doing something beyond, if they went to that next level in our community, it would be that much more of a community to really speak of nationwide, you know.
And so really, I mean, you know, what I've been doing with nonprofits and what I've been doing with work that I'm doing, I've been doing a lot of video. And I wanted to ask you, how can you encourage agents to be comfortable on video and talk about different topics that they love? Because there's only, you know, pictures are great, but it's all about video. I mean, people like that personal touch.
Yeah, I mean, I think with video, the key to it is just, you know, relaxing first of all, and really, you know, digesting who you are. I mean, right now I'm currently, you know, focused on the Miami Association as their current president for Broward, Miami, and you know, actually tomorrow I'm flying out to Paris.
Wow.
And we're taking a train down to Cannes for MIPIM, which is a commercial real estate networking group that comes together internationally. So all the big players for commercial real estate come down, and then we're going to end up signing proclamations for several different countries.
Wow.
To collaborate with them in real estate. I mean, obviously real estate's everywhere, so we want to be able to have access, and we want to give, you know, countries around the world access to what we have to offer as well. So, I mean, that's really my focus, and that's what I suggest coming back to like the video thing is, you know, pick your niche on what you want to talk about, you know, and enjoy that. I think probably what we see a lot, and realtors in general with being scared of video, is maybe they just aren't interested in something enough to really enjoy speaking about it.
Yeah.
And if they could just relax and talk about, you know, some of the things that they enjoy about a specific topic, then they're on point. Otherwise, I wouldn't veer off and get into a world of something they're not really savvy about.
What got me interested is the business that I'm doing, and then you know, I get to speak to local community leaders and business owners, and
I love it.
It's really cool. Like, I was over, you know, I did an interview at someone's pawn shop, and I corrected code violations for him, and he spoke about, you know, just people want to see relevant content, right? And I think they want to see short content and things that make sense for them. So what I try and do is I try and bring, you know, agents into the field to show them, you know, how my interaction is going with the city, with lien reductions or change of use, or, you know, anything like that. So that's
what's
fun.
the biggest lien you've been able to what's the biggest dollar amount you've been able to reduce on liens? I'd love to hear that.
We're looking at right now probably the.
Does that put you in an uncomfortable situation to talk about it? Because maybe the city might hear that.
Yeah, no, actually, the city of Fort Lauderdale, and the one I'm going to talk about is not in the city of Fort Lauderdale. The city of Fort Lauderdale posts all their lien reductions on their site. So they post the percentage and what those were reduced to.
That's probably a good tip, by the way, because the public probably doesn't know.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They post a percentage of the date of the lien, what was the fines, what were the administrative costs, and how much the reduction was. So they want to make the process transparent, and I think they want to, you know, I think they want to prevent selective enforcement, meaning I did one thing for one property owner that I didn't do for another. So the Village of Biscayne Park, you know, I was able to get a $180,000 lien reduced to about $3,600. So that was pretty cool. That was a Univision celebrity who has many homes that they brought in a local contractor to come in and start work. The contractor said he was pulling permits. He went ahead and pulled the permits, never closed them out, and did work outside the scope. So then 6 months later, I needed to do a change of contractor. I needed to bring some things into compliance, some outlets, some drain lines, some mechanical vents for the exhaust, and then after you bring the property into compliance, the city allows you to mitigate the lien.
What was that?
What?
Yeah, how much was it?
What
was the difference? They had a certain dollar amount.
It was from $180,000 to about $3,600.
I mean.
So I mean that's huge. That's huge. And shortly after that, you know, the agent was able to close on the property.
Can you imagine the stress on the seller with $180,000 liens? was probably eating up a large portion of
the proceeds.
Whatever.
Yeah. No. And these are, and I think these are a lot of things we're dealing with in our local Tri-County area or South Florida in general. I don't understand why the building departments keep allowing these contractors who leave permits open to continue to pull permits.
Right.
I just dealt with in Hillcrest in Hollywood, which was crazy. This guy came into the building. He pulled 5 accordion shutter permits for elderly people. He went ahead and applied for the permits, left the permits at the building department, denied, finished the work. Now one of those people, they have to sell their unit. And on top of that, I get into situations where one of those people, they have unpermitted work in their unit.
Wow.
So what I try and do is I try and give the agents the best advice.
Yeah.
Like, for example, I let them know the potential outcome. I try and tell them, hey, look, let's explain what's going on to the buyer, explain the possible ramifications of it, and then, maybe we can move forward. Another interesting situation was in Sunny Isles Beach. A guy had an open flooring permit from 2 owners ago, but he renovated the entire unit. So I can't bring the city of Sunny Isles Beach in there to close the open flooring permit that I don't even know if it has soundproofing underneath it. So again, I'm trying to give the agents the best advice through my experience. And
owner repping as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm touching on owner rep work. I'm touching on commercial and residential improvements.
Why would somebody have an owner rep?
Someone would have an owner rep because basically they change contractors, or their contractor says he has the plans in the building department or the corrections and he doesn't. So basically your own eyes on the project.
I mean, what we're seeing now more than ever, the prevalence of an owner's rep scenario because of just the lack of competence for some of the GCs.
Sure.
And whether it's competence or just work ethic or just overall egregious, unnecessary, just not showing up or doing half shoddy work.
Yeah.
So this owner rep game is really showing up
and those
prevalent here in the county.
And those are the issues why there are a lot of open permits, because and sometimes the work is code compliant and sometimes it isn't.
Yeah.
So then the person left with the burden is the property owner.
Right.
So, and I've even seen property owners hold back a certain small amount, and the contractor still walks away from the work because that level of work being performed and the payment for it being performed, it superseded one another, or the work that they did was shoddy and they know it can't pass final inspection, or they deviated from the approved plans from the building department. So we deal with, not only processing but qualifying these things and correcting the deficiencies. So it's,
absolutely.
even in Wilton Manors, I have a client right now who owns a shopping center, and he hasn't brought his property in compliance for 4 years.
Yeah.
He has a pawn shop. Jeez. He pissed off the city, and basically, the city's making him do property improvements for like seal coat restripe, property maintenance, and things are very challenging.
Yeah.
Not to go into specifics, but things are very challenging.
You're a needed asset.
I'm trying. I'm trying, and it's fun. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for being here. And can you just tell the viewers for a second why an agent would want to get someone like me and not deal with any of these code compliance issues once they get the lien search?
Right. I think in a case where an agent clearly is not going to be able to, unless they want to put a lot of time and energy going down to the city or the municipality or wherever the transaction's located at and dealing with that. I just don't see your typical agent being involved in that process. I think you're an added asset, especially usually when your issues come up or the issues of the property come up. They're right there at the tail end of the transaction. So the immediate, it's almost like an emergency scenario to get that permit cleared out in a transaction, and
like on Seminole.
And
like
that would be right. That would be the last thing that we'd want to get into. is trying to handle it on our own. Just not a good idea, So the probability of it not closing without you would be light at best.
And what I'm trying to do is teach agents to do pencil searches before the lien search comes in. I'm trying to encourage title companies, to pull the lien search in the beginning, and also more along the lines of the listing agents to be proactive. I don't think there's anything wrong with an agent saying, hey, calling the city, hey, I'm a resident here, or I'm a business owner here. I want to find out if this if this property has any open permits or code violations before they take the listing.
No, that's not a problem. That would be typical.
And that's something you would encourage agents to do?
Absolutely. So,
all right. Well, we're going to get ready to eat lunch.
Yeah, let's grab some lunch.
I wanted to thank my viewers so much
Thanks, guys.
for today. Thank you, guys.
Ed,
Thank you,
thanks
Jonathan,
for
for being
having me.
with us.
Appreciate it.